Hey everybody, Mary Z back again with more voice hacks for you for all genres of singing and including extreme vocals and screaming. Today's topic is a question that a lot of you have asked me about. It is on vibrato. Ah, ee, ee. What is vibrato exactly? We hear this term thrown around all over the place, but a lot of people don't really define it. So I just wanted to take a minute and talk to you from my perspective as a vocal instructor who's done this for over a decade, and I've heard all kinds of vibrato. And I want to explain how it works, and maybe you'll be able to have some vibrato of your own. So vibrato is often defined as an oscillation or a variation in pitch that sort of adds richness to the tone. But for me, what it feels like is a sound wave oscillation that is sort of shaking around the structure here, causing vibration. What vibrato is not is intentionally making different pitches. So in some instruments, it is. In some instruments, you've got to sit there and you've got to purposely go E. You need to go back and forth between two actual pitches. But when we're singing, vibrato isn't made by doing two pitches. It's by holding a certain breath pressure and letting it naturally happen. It just naturally occurs. Now, why doesn't everybody have vibrato? Some people say that they have no vibrato, even after they've been singing for a while. They've got a very straight tone voice. I have personally found in my teaching experience that many times if someone doesn't have much vibrato, they need to work on two things. One is breath support and breath pressure to find that even pressure where the oscillation will kick in. And two is vocal cord compression strength. So you need to work on vocal compression exercises. If you're a person who has some vibrato in there, but it's very wobbly, like kind of goaty or wobbly like that. This could be either your compression muscles or your breath pressure or a combination of the two. I really have found that for me personally, when I get my students doing compression strengthening exercises, that their vibrato evens out and it improves greatly. But breath support is going to even out a lot of your vibrato too. So you really want to make sure to have good coordination with your breath pressure. If you have a really bright, high, airy voice, you may not have a lot of vibrato and you really need to work on those compression exercises to get that to happen a little bit. So when we sing straight tone, and admittedly, most modern non-classical genres are filled with straight tone. In fact, vibrato is used very tastefully. We shouldn't use it a whole lot in modern music because we don't want it to sound too formal, too classical. But in certain genres of metal, we do certainly hear it a lot. But in most cases, we're using straight tone for modern music for most of the song, and then letting vibrato come in as we release some of the air pressure at the end. So you can get your vibrato to come in by letting go of some of the air pressure, actually backing off a little bit. If you want to get rid of the vibrato, you would straighten out the tone. So I can straighten my tone. A, there's my straight tone. And now if I back off of that, my vibrato starts to kick in. It just wanted to there almost. A. So when I squeezed my abs to increase the breath pressure, it straightened my tone out. When I released a little bit of the air pressure and backed off, it allowed the vibrato oscillation to kick in. So a lot of times, if you don't have any or it's goaty or wobbly, check out my exercise I have here on YouTube. It's a vocal compression exercise. This will start building more strength in the muscles that resist air pressure and close the vocal cords, and it will help you have a more even vibrato. I know for me personally, compression strength has evened out my vibrato a lot. And then in conjunction with that, you need to work on your breath pressure because that can make it uneven or a little wobbly or a little wide as well. So you want to have a nice even pace to your vibrato. neither too fast nor too slow. And when you're doing that, you still want a steady rate of air to come out. It's just not as hard of a pressure as you would push for straight tone. So when you're singing, generally in a modern music, if you're not singing classical, you'd want to sing straight tone for most of the sentence and back it off for the last couple of words. Happy birthday to you. You know, let that vibrato come in on the end. If you put vibrato on every single note, it might not be appropriate for your genre. Like happy birthday to you might be like a little too formal. It doesn't really work. However, if you're a classical singer, you're singing operatically, you're probably going to need vibrato on every single note. You need vibrato on every single note. You know, most notes of classical music, except for the faster moving ones, are going to have vibrato on them. And same thing with musical theater. You'd kind of follow the rules of modern singing styles, even though we use more mixed voice and things and maybe not so much belting. You want to kind of tastefully save your vibrato for the ends of sentences and not go too overboard. If you're in a professional choir or a college choir, you're definitely going to have a lot of complaints if you have a lot of vibrato. They want you to sing straight tone. So just be careful that as you're doing straight tone things that you're using air pressure and you're not squeezing from here to straighten out the tone, especially if you're in a choir and you're trying to blend in. I remember I had a choir director in college and he would always complain, especially because I have a big contralto voice, lots of vibrato, and he would always yell at us saying, too much vibrato, like that. He was like a bass. So definitely there is going to be a lot of complaints from a choir director. However, you know, most people have vibrato, so you can't really fight a lot of it. Try not to fight it too much if, you know, if it feels forced. But again, try to balance it out with your air pressure so that you can use it tastefully and have control over it. Thanks, everybody, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, come join us in the Voicehacks Singers Sanctuary. It's a group on Facebook full of singers and screamers like yourself. A lot of my students are in there, a lot of people who follow the YouTube channel. So join us there. That's a great sharing environment. I do Q&As and all kinds of cool things in there. And as always, if you need lessons, email me at voicehacks@gmail.com for lessons on Skype or other video platforms. Thanks very much and have a great day. Bye.